welcome back to Hannah Ever After. If you don't know me, I'm Hannah. I am 20 years old, and this past year I was a part of the Disney College program. I've been back from the program for like about a month and a half, and I haven't really made any videos since then, simply because I've been like trying to get back into the hang of like my actual life. Pretty much for that last month and a half, I've been readjusting to life back at home. I have been working, I've been in school, and of course there's some other things, just reconnecting with people and just day-to-day life type of things. But I figured now it's been enough time and I've got some free time, so I figured I'd make a video kind of talking about my experiences with the Disney College program, and also more of like what it's like when you actually start your program, because I know before I started, like that was the scariest thing to me, was not knowing anything about the program going into it. So before I started, like most of the questions I had were kind of about like check-in and the buses and like how your first week of work is going to go. So those are going to be like the main things that I want to talk about in this video. When I started my program, I did make a video like during my check-in day, but it was so crazy and so busy that I kind of really didn't take you guys along with me, just because I was trying to figure out so many things. So I wanted to do a quick recap of that day and talk more about what actually happened, because I didn't really talk about it when I was there. My check-in day was January 22nd, so that meant I left on January 21st. That way I could kind of get there the night before. So that was a Sunday. You're always going to check in on a Monday. That's the thing. You check in on Monday, and your departure day is always going to be on a Thursday. So move-in is always Monday, checkout is always Thursday. So what me and my mom did is we slept in a hotel the night before. There's a lot of hotels in that area. We stayed in one of the hotels that's in that area. It's literally in Flamingo Crossings. It's like not even 5 minutes away from East or West. I was in East, Flamingo East. So there's two campuses if you don't know. There's Flamingo Crossings East and Flamingo Crossings West. Check-in is always going to be at Flamingo Crossings East. So this is going to be speaking from the perspective of somebody who was in East. I don't really know how it works for West, but everybody is going to check in at East no matter which one you're in. Thankfully, I was in East, so that made the whole check-in process a little bit easier. I think check-ins start as early as 8 o'clock. Mine was also at noon. So that also is going to impact it a little bit, but my check-in was not really that early, which I was so thankful for, because I am not good at waking up early. So check-ins can be as early as 8 o'clock, and they can go throughout around noon, maybe a little bit later, but for me it was like somewhere in the middle of that. We had a rental car when my mom was there, so we had our little itinerary for check-in, because they will email you that itinerary, so we had that to show to the parking security at Flamingo East, and we parked the rental car just in the resident parking. And I left my bags in the car for my check-in, and I think that if you don't have a car, or if you're at West, they have a little like bag spot to keep your bags at the basketball courts, so you can hold your luggage there while you're going to check in, because you don't want to have your luggage with you during check-in. So if you have a rental car or you brought your car, you can totally leave your luggage in the car, but if you don't have a car, there's places to hold it and you don't have to worry about that at all. So when it's actually time to check in, that's when you're going to separate from your parents if you came with your parents, or if you're by yourself, you're just going to follow the signs that tell you where to check in. And that check-in for me was at the Great Lawn in Flamingo East. And basically they had you open up like a portal and kind of get logged in, and then you're going to go with a big group into one of their like rooms. They're going to show you a bunch of like housekeeping videos, basically like how Flamingo Crossings Village itself works. Like it's not like a Disney video or anything. It's like the American campus people telling you how they kind of run their facilities and expect their facilities to be managed by us. So that was the first step of check-in. And after that video finishes, that's when you're going to go and get like your room number, your room card. You're going to find out like your little neighborhood that you were in. When you find out your neighborhood, you're also going to get like a little lanyard, and it's going to have like your little character on it that you're like in. Flamingo East has A through E. Flamingo West has F through I believe. And your lanyards are going to have a little character of your neighborhood character on it. For me, I was in the Edna neighborhood, so my lanyard had like a little pendant of Edna on it, and it was so cool. Then from there, you're going to take your ID photos, or it could be the other way around. Honestly, I don't really remember. I know I'm the best at giving tips for this, but it's either you take your blue ID photo, or you get your room card. I honestly don't remember the order, but both of those are going to happen like in the same sequence. At least they did for me. So you're getting your ID photo in that initial check-in, and you're getting your room card, your room number, all in that initial check-in process. So after you're done with all of that, you're going to go back with whoever you were with, or if you're by yourself, you're just gonna go get your luggage from wherever you left it, and you're gonna go find your room. I was in a 2x2, which is basically you share a bedroom and a bathroom with one other person. There's the living space, and then across from you, there is another 2x2 where it's another bathroom and another bedroom. So there's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. There's also 4x2s where you share a bathroom, but you have your own separate bedrooms. And then there's a 4x4 where everybody gets their own bathroom and their own bedroom. The most common housing is 2x2, so if you do the program, that's what you're most likely gonna get. After we went to my apartment, we left my luggage there, and that's when we went shopping. So again, like, I didn't show any of this in the video, and this is crazy because I can't believe I did all of that while I was making that original video, because it doesn't even seem like it was the same day. But we went to the Target. There's a Target close by. There is a shopping center in Flamingo Crossings. There's a small Target there. We did not go to that one because it's very small. We went to a Target that's maybe like 5 or 10 minutes away. And that's where we got like my pillows and my initial groceries and all of the things that we just couldn't bring on the plane. I bought like a lot of like storage containers. I bought little containers for like my toothbrush and my hair stuff and my makeup. So like all of that, that's kind of like more making the apartment feel like your home. For me, since I was flying, that was like the most useful way to get all that stuff. And you definitely have time during the day to go to Target. After all of that, we went back to my apartment. We kind of made my bed, set up my room, did everything that I needed to do really to make it my own space. Another thing that I did is I brought actually a lot of these pictures, all of these square pictures. I brought those with me and kind of put them up on my wall to make it feel like all of my friends and family were with me, which definitely helped. So I highly recommend that. Also, if you already have a lot of Disney ears, you could bring those and use like command hooks to hang them up on the wall. There's a lot of different ways to personalize your room, and I think that's really cool. So don't be afraid to make your room your own, because it is your room, especially if you do a year-long program. You want to make that place feel as homey as possible. With all of this, you have like a little itinerary, so you know what your timing is to do things. Not everyone's timing is going to be exactly the same as mine. Later that night, I did have a class. It was called Bringing the Magic to Life, and it's not paid. It's not necessary, but definitely if it's your first program, I would highly recommend going to it because it tells you all about the bus app. The bus app is called Passio Go, and it's going to tell you which buses go where. So it's going to be all these different routes, and it will tell you which buses go where, and then on the app it'll tell you what time it's going to be at what places. So it's if you're using the buses, you need to have that app, otherwise you will not be able to get anywhere on time. And let me tell you, those buses, they are a little messed up, so sometimes they're not always accurate, but that app will save your life, because you would rather have a guesstimate than just to not get anywhere you need to on time at all. Especially some buses that have really long routes. You're gonna need that app and know how to use it, because it will save your life. Again, I want to reiterate, that was just my check-in day. Yours could totally be completely different, because timing for everyone is different. No, like, you're not all gonna check in at the exact same time. So like some people come at this time and some people come at that time, and you don't want to be there more than like 30 minutes early to your check-in time, because then you're gonna be like intermixing with other check-in times, and then it's gonna just get everyone backed up the entire day. So just come at your check-in time and everything will hopefully run smoothly. Also, you do not want to be late for your check-in time, because then that could also mess everything up for you personally. And of course, if there's emergencies, like your flight got delayed or anything like that, they do give you that contact information, so you can get that all sorted out, and you should not be held responsible for that. This is the Hannah that's editing the video. Just to pop in and say that there is one part of check-in that I totally missed out. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I did have another part of check-in that I had at like 4 o'clock. Again, I don't remember what it was, and I wish I did. It was at 4 o'clock, so it was like, it only took me like 30 minutes. It might have been like a background check, but that's the only thing I left out. Pretty much everything is exactly correct. So when it comes to the actual like becoming a cast member part of your program, it's gonna take just like a little bit of time because your first week is pretty much a free week. So what happens is the day after my check-in, which would have been the 23rd, they had I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was essentially where I got my little park passes. And this wasn't my self-admission that I got for the entirety of my program, because you don't get that until a little bit after you've actually started training. But this is like your park passes for before you actually get that. That way you're not blocked out of the parks your first week. So I did that, and there's 3 of them, so you can go 3 days, and that first week, again, is pretty much essentially free until like Friday or Saturday. So for me, that's when I made those videos of going to Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom and all that. So that is before I got paid for anything. That was before I saw my name tag. That was before anything. That was my free week where you're just kind of getting adjusted to Florida and that Florida weather and all of the things, getting to go to the parks and have fun before you have responsibilities and stuff like that, which I do appreciate that they do that. That way you're not instantly going and like thrown into it without even having time to adjust to being far away from home, especially if you're like from California or another part of the world. So that's very nice that they do that. The very first thing you're going to get paid for is called Traditions, and everybody talks about Traditions. It's that class where they show you all the sappy videos of people crying and getting to go to Disney for the first time, and some people say it's a little bit scary and intimidating, which that's totally valid, especially if you're not a crier. I am, but I didn't cry during it, so it varies. The videos that they showed were very sweet though. Traditions is something you cannot skip because it is part of your orientation, it is part of your training, and you are paid for it. And you also need your Blue ID to be able to get into this class, and you have an assigned time to attend this class. So on your itinerary, it will show you when you're supposed to be at Traditions and where it is. Mine was at Flamingo Crossings East in Apprentice Hall. Some people have it at Disney University, which one of the buses takes you there, so if you don't have your car, you don't have to worry about it. You're going to take the e-route, so don't even worry about it. You'll be able to get there so easy. But it also could just be at Flamingo Crossings, and if it is, it'll tell you which room to go to in Apprentice Hall. This might be a little bit of a spoiler warning for Traditions, but at the end of Traditions, Mickey Mouse comes out and you get your name tags and you get this little Mickey ear hat. And this is kind of a magical moment here because these are sold for like $30 and you just got them for free. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. So you're going to get your first name tag. It's going to say the college that you go to. And it's such a cool experience when you go up and get your name tag. It's so cool. Because then you're like, it's real. I'm a cast member. And it's a really cool feeling. The next day, there was a second orientation class called Bringing the Magic to Life, which again is going to be on your itinerary. And that's just kind of another like orientation video. It's more about like the safety aspect of being a cast member. It's less like magical than Traditions, if you would, but that is another thing that you get paid for. It's going to be the second thing that you get paid for. And it's, again, required, just one of those things that you kind of have to do. And then after that, it starts with your on-the-job training, which is obviously the moment everybody wants to get to. This is also going to be on your itinerary, and for me it was really weird. I don't know if it was like this for anyone else, but it should start with like a property orientation. I don't know how it works for the resorts, but I was at Animal Kingdom, so that ideally should start with the property orientation. For some reason mine did not start with that, and my first day of on-the-job training was actually at my location. But I talked to a lot of people and they all said that their first day was the property orientation, which I did get. It was just on my second day, so it was a little interesting. And basically that was just a guided tour around the park. All of the parks get them. Again, I don't know how exactly that works for the resorts, but if you are put at one of the parks, they're just going to walk you around in a group. And they're going to tell you about the park. They're going to tell you about park history, and then basically just give you a tour of it all. That way, if guests ask you for directions, you kind of know where to guide them. So that's the property orientation. It by far was probably my favorite day of training just because we got to walk around Animal Kingdom. It was a lot of fun, but it was also really cold because it was January and it was at like 7 a.m. So Florida can get cold. I didn't tell you guys until the end of my program, but my location was Pizza Safari in Discovery Island. The costume was actually really adorable. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. When you start your on-the-job training, they're gonna give you this Earning My Ears ribbon that you're gonna put on the back of your name tag. That's just to let people know that you're in training, so hopefully the guests cut you some slack if you make mistakes, because everybody makes mistakes and it's totally normal to make mistakes, so don't overthink it at all. And your training schedule will also be part of your itinerary, and then after that, it's all gonna be on Cast Life, which you're gonna get access to during training. And then after that, after your training, you're like home free. You can take this off whenever you want to after training. I took it off after my last training shift because I wanted to be like a full cast member because I was so excited about it. And I had Mickey take off my ribbon. I don't know if the characters can do this anymore, that you can take them off with the characters around you. They just can't pull them off anymore. That changed like right after I did it. But yeah, it was a very exciting experience. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is like those cast exclusive things that you get to do when you are a CP. So of course, there are cast previews, which I was lucky enough to get to do a Tiana's Bayou Adventure cast preview, and I was able to bring my sisters with me as guests, and that was so cool. I was scared that I wasn't going to get to do it because, as we all know, it kind of struggled a little bit with its opening, but it was so much fun to get to do that, and I can't believe that there was actually an attraction opening when I was a CP, and I got to experience an actual cast preview. Like, if you told little me that, she would literally pass out. It would, like, she would not be able to handle that at all. So that was probably one of the coolest things that I got to do on my program, and it worked out perfectly that my family was there for that. It was, for lack of a better word, magical. Another thing that I got to do was there was a program celebration for the Disney College program. That's an after-hours event that took place at Animal Kingdom because it closes so early, and that was really cool. I went with my friend Elise, and we had the best time ever. They gave us this little wristband that I kept because I had to. And then, of course, there was this little program celebration pass. It had like all of our vouchers for our snacks and stuff like that. And then the back has a quote from Dinosaur, and I'm so sad about the fate of Dinosaur. It is actually devastating to me. A lot of locations, as in just like parks and resorts as a whole, they have cast parties that only people in those areas can go to. So we had a cast party at Animal Kingdom. We got this little, it was on a lanyard, the lanyard snapped, but this is basically to say like, oh, I can be here at this cast party. And we got to like take pictures with exclusive and rare characters, and we got free food and free Mickey bars. It was kind of the greatest experience ever. And literally, the food there was so good. They had like the best mac and cheese I've ever had in my life. And of course, another cool thing that you get as a cast member is cast exclusives. So one of those things for me was this Lion King 30th anniversary pin. It doesn't want to focus, but basically it was to commemorate 30 years of the Lion King, and I thought that was so cool. My leader actually fought for me to get this one because they ran out. It also came with this artwork. Another cast exclusive that I got was at one of the Flamingo classes that I took. It was a communications class. I got Tiana's Bayou Adventure trading cards, which are so exclusive. That's pretty much all I have. I don't know if this video was like super helpful or gave anybody some insight. I don't have all of the tips and tricks because I've only done this once, and like I'm kind of terrible at giving advice, but hopefully this helped a little bit. I just know that I had so many questions, and of course if you guys have any more questions, leave them in the comments because I will answer them the best I know how. I would love to answer any questions anyone has about the Disney College program. I definitely want to go back and do another program. I miss Disney every single day. And I cannot wait until the day I'm back in Florida. That way I can go back into the parks, because let me tell you, when you're living at Disney World for 6.5 months, you definitely miss it when you're back in Kansas. What am I gonna do now that I'm back in Kansas? Because when I started YouTube again, it was on the hope and dream that I would someday go to Florida and do a Disney College program. I regret that I didn't make that many videos. There were a lot of videos that I could have made, such as the program celebration, and I could have filmed some more at the parks. I had a lot of ideas that I didn't go with. I also went to Universal Studios, and I did not make a video of that either. So I do have a lot of regrets for not filming and recording as much as I could have during my program. I want to do a lot of themed stuff. Today is September 22nd, so it's the first day of fall. So I want to do a lot of like fall content. I don't really have a set plan, But definitely I am not going to give up on YouTube, because someday I do want to go back to Florida again, and I just want to kind of show what Kansas can really be like. It doesn't have to be completely boring because you're in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but basically, we're not done. I'm not quitting. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I don't know if this answered all of your questions. I don't know if this was helpful at all. But again, if you have any extra questions, leave them in the comments. I'd be more than willing to answer. Definitely, if you're on the fence about doing the program, just do it, okay? Because people always say they meet their best friends and they have the best experience, and I didn't believe them at first, but now I do, because literally I have made the best friends ever on this program, and I do not regret doing it at all. And I think that I would never have known what I was missing if I didn't do it, but it genuinely is kind of life-changing, okay? Like, if you're on the fence, this is your recommendation from me. Trust me, I would never lie to you. It is so worth it. I will see you guys in my next video, whatever it may be. I love you all so much, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!